Hi there, students. To forecast. A forecast. Forecasting, the noun of the activity. Notice as a verb, forecasted or forecast are both possible past tenses. Okay, to forecast, to predict the future, to make predictions based on past and present data, using the past and present situation, or maybe even future predictions, to predict what's going to happen in the future. I think generally to predict is similar to forecasting, but a more general term. Whereas forecasting normally has more formal statistical methods, or it has some sort of scientific basis behind it. Something that is systematic. But to forecast, to predict the future, to say what's going to happen, a statement of what's liable to happen in the future, looking at the current and the past situations. So if we just say the forecast, normally we're talking about the weather forecast. So the forecast today says it's going to pour with rain all day. But you could have an economic forecast. You could have a financial forecast. Okay, so forecasting, there are all sorts of forecasts. It's to estimate or predict in advance weather conditions or future situations. Normally, the weather forecasts are as a result of an analysis of the current and previous meteorological data, knowing what is liable to happen next. These signals forecast inflation. So something forecasts something, it predicts that it's going to happen. It's an advance indicator of what is going to happen. So a prediction of what is coming. But is so perhaps a magician looks at your hand and predicts the future. Forecast is more scientific. It's got a more scientific basis. So to forecast a future event, to prognosticate, to foretell, to predict. It's a forecast, it's a calculation of what will happen in the future based on current weather or current financial trends. So forecasting in the stock market is a very, very important thing. Okay, to indicate what is likely to occur. So pessimists are forecasting that business is going to get much, much worse. If everything turns out as I forecast, then things will be great. So it's like a prophecy, but it's a prophecy using data, using information, using current data. It's a statement about what you expect to happen. Yeah, but in relation to a particular event. So who do you predict is going to win the match? This team. But maybe who do you forecast? You're looking at each of the players in each of the teams, and you're looking at their record, and that would be more of a forecast, a projection, a prognosis, an anticipation. You forecast future events. What you say that you think is going to happen. So the opinion polls forecast a huge defeat for the current government. The finance department forecast a 10% increase in sales next year. They anticipate, they foretell. The government forecasts an average inflation of 4% next year. So a forecast, it's something that suggests what's going to happen in the future. You could forecast a rise in prices. You could forecast the weather. You estimate how something will be in the future. You predict what's going to happen. The weather forecast said it will rain. He forecasted snow for the weekend. Okay, so forecasting, predicting, calculating the future. I think forecasters got this idea of prediction with calculation. Politicians always want to know about the polls, about the forecasts, for the voting forecast, how people are going to look, the outlook, the prediction. Yeah, to give an indication of something in advance. Yeah, to how things bode, what's actually going to happen. So what's the weather forecast for tomorrow? According to the financial forecast, we ought to get out of the market. Yeah, forecasts about the economy, financial forecasts over the next year, an economic forecast, a weather forecast. There are all sorts of forecasts, things that are sorry, are forecast for the future. So oil prices are forecast to decrease by 10% next year. Okay, so it's effectively what's going to happen. If the company could beat the forecast, a forecast beating performance, forecast beating profit figures, sound very good indeed. So to forecast, I think I'm going to give it a 5.5 informality. Use anywhere. It's either about the weather or about finances, about business. So I think forecast is generally a financial word. And then as to origin, Middle English forecasting, for before in front of, and cast, to throw, to throw forward. From Old Norse casta, to throw, to overturn, Proto-Germanic castona, to throw or to cast. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Forecasting.